Wait, where am I? Is this what being lost feels like?
Oh, honey, if you think that's bad, just wait until you reach your early 20s. Watching Hilda is an experience equivalent to curling up with a warm blanket and a cup of hot chocolate. It's an incredibly cozy show, so much so that it tricks my brain into liking the color orange. The dialogue is also the dictionary definition of charming. Everything the woodman says makes me chuckle.
But he's like part of our family.
No, I'm not.
At its core, Hilda is a show about how we perceive things, and over the course of 2 seasons in a movie, we get to explore how our perceptions inform our perspectives. The first 2 episodes work as a thematic call and response. Audience members are introduced to this world through Hilda's point of view. We see and experience things the same way she does. When the hidden people attack her house, we share her confusion. She's lived here her entire life, yet she had no idea there was an entire civilization right outside her doorstep.
But they've been here all the time, and I just couldn't see them.
Correct.
This scene serves as an analog for the process of maturing emotionally. As we grow older, we develop the cognitive awareness to sympathize with people whose lives exist outside of our own personal scope of experience. In his essay, The Evidence of Things Not Seen, author James Baldwin wrote, "We perceive by means of the kaleidoscopic mirror of this life. This means that our ability to perceive is at once tyrannized by our expectations and at war with them." Hilda may not have been able to see the elves, but this doesn't negate the fact that she's negatively impacted their lives. Thanks to this knowledge, Hilda's perspective changes. She still doesn't want to move, but her offering of peace evolves into a more diplomatic conversation. And she goes out of her way to find a solution that works for everyone involved. Unfortunately, she also becomes aware of the astronomical headache that is bureaucracy.
It's out of my hands! And I don't even have hands!
I'm afraid to say that fixing the situation at this point is,
Out of your hands?
yes. And I don't even have hands.
My royal hands are full!
You don't even have hands!
Jorgen's character helps to further develop the concept of perspective in Hilda's universe. Once upon a time, the giants were in a situation similar to hers. Their world got smaller, and a series of unfortunate misunderstandings led to conflict. Hilda manages to resolve her dispute with the elves, but she and her mother still have to move to Trollberg because Jorgen accidentally steps on their house.
They haven't even noticed what they've done.
I fell in love with this show because of this specific scene. It's incredibly profound. So much is said with so little dialogue. It simultaneously showcases the cruel irony of life and the resilient power of love in the face of destruction. And the rest of the series builds off of this thesis statement. Our worldviews are informed by what we see and experience, but it's imperative that we're mindful of the other living beings we share this planet with.
You know where to find me.
That's very comforting.
For you.
One of the most interesting aspects of Hilda moving to Trollberg is that I shared her lack of enthusiasm for this change in setting. We're introduced to a whimsical forest teeming with unique creatures, only to trade it out for a cramped, cookie-cutter city.
I think it just seems loud and crowded. You can barely see the sky, the trees are too small for climbing, and they built a wall to keep out anything interesting.
Trollberg is underwhelming by design. Finding magic in nature is much easier than finding magic in a metropolis, but it's far from impossible. Hilda sees the city as an adventuring dead zone, but Joanna grew up in Trollberg, and her fond perspective helps Hilda see the appeal of city life.
Wow, from up here the city is, well, kind of beautiful.
Yes, it is.
Nothing is ever one-dimensional, and this truth applies to both places and people. It's natural to make surface-level assumptions, but it's irresponsible to not look deeper. Every creature Hilda befriends has a nuanced story. The Great Raven is actually a thunderbird who stumbled into his role at the Trollberg parade. The Lindworm loves plants and is tired of being treated like a means to an end. The Black Hound is just a lost dog searching for his owner. And the Mara, well, they're genuinely mean. But even Kelly has a softer side that elicits sympathy. Everyone you meet is just trying to live their life in peace, and great relationships develop somewhere in the gap between our similarities and differences.
You're always saying how you can make friends with elves, trolls, and giants. Compared to that, talking to some kids should be easy.
Before she moved to the city, Hilda didn't want human friends. She found rocks and wafts more interesting than people. But one of the most magical aspects of life is making connections. And though Hilda's initial attempt at forging friendships backfires, she eventually finds her footing with David and Frida. This trio is quite wholesome, thanks in no small part to the fact that they balance out each other's worst tendencies. David is afraid of nearly everything, but Hilda and Frida encourage him to try new things. Frida is an overachieving perfectionist, but David and Hilda help her let go of her need for control. Hilda is incredibly impulsive, but Frida and David help her think things through. That's the power of friendship. It's the daily act of choosing and cultivating platonic love. But one of life's guarantees is that you will fight with the people closest to you.
You know, you're not making it easy to be your friend right now.
You think it's easy being your friend?
I'd say I'm pretty low maintenance compared to you.
I really appreciate the fact that they don't fully reconcile until the season finale. Pride often inhibits apologies, and this stubbornness tends to widen the divide. Their fight comes at an important juncture for Hilda, and it forces her to reconsider her place in the world. After a discouraging encounter with Victoria Van Gale, Hilda finds herself lost in the woods she used to call home. She's acclimated to city life, but a part of her will always long for the wilderness and its simplicity. She didn't have to worry about fighting with her friends at her old house, but she also didn't have friends to miss, and she realizes this after a misadventure with the Woodman.
I just wish to be home. And I ended up here. I guess Trollberg is my home now.
Home is a title we bestow upon a place, but it's more than just a location. It's a feeling of security, a comfort that comes from the people we choose to surround ourselves with. The label itself is merely contingent upon our perspectives. To quote Woodman, "Someday, your home may be somewhere else, but that doesn't mean you leave your other homes behind."
The wilderness will always be a part of who you are. That's why we're such good friends.
We are?
Repeating myself makes me anxious.
Season 2 expands upon the overall theme of perspective by shifting the lens of examination onto the inner lives of our supporting characters. Kaisa, for example, appears to be a confident and secure individual, but she's no stranger to doubt.
I didn't want you to know that I'm not the witch you taught me to be. That I'm just a librarian.
Few things are more important than how we perceive ourselves. We're only as capable as we think we are, which is why a negative self-perception is so debilitating. Inadequacy is an intrusive narrative, but instead of dwelling on what you aren't, celebrate what you are.
You're the keeper of the books. And that's a wonderful surprise.
Your neighbors are living complex lives just off screen. They've loved, they've lost. They have hopes and dreams and regrets. And whether they realize it or not, they're part of an interconnected community.
And all this time, she was just around the corner.
The phrase, "it's a small world after all," doesn't apply to the literal size and scope of geography. It's about the subtle ties that bind us together. Tildy isn't just a nice lady who grows pretty flowers. She's an accomplished witch and a caring mentor. And in a different world, she and Mr. Ostenfeld could have shared a beautiful life together. But things don't always work out the way we want them to. And fixating on the past only makes living in the present harder.
I can't believe that's my life. If only I'd lived it.
Members of the main cast also become self-reflective. David doesn't like the part of himself that's fearful, but he learns that caution can be a valuable trait. Witchcraft becomes a healthier outlet for Frida's perfectionism. Alfur fights tooth and nail to stay with his found family. Even Twig gets an episode dedicated to his inner conflict, and it's utterly gut-wrenching.
If this is what you want, then you should go. But I'll miss you, boy.
But the most heartfelt character arc belongs to Hilda. Her strong sense of empathy for other creatures is one of her best qualities, and over the course of Season 2, she realizes this empathy should also extend to her mother.
Am I doing the right thing? This isn't the sort of mum I wanted to be, but what am I supposed to do?
A natural but difficult part of growing up is admitting that our parents are flawed human beings. We idolize them as children, but putting anyone on a pedestal is a pathway to disappointment. Our parents are simply part of an imperfect world. They can have the best intentions possible and still make horrible mistakes just like you and I. A luxury of adulthood is choosing who's part of your universe. Sometimes this includes our parents. Sometimes it doesn't. No one is owed access to you or your deeper truths, but the willingness to express yourself is a tremendous act of courage, and the people who respect this courage are more than worth your time.
I'm sorry I was a bit harsh before. I didn't mean to.
I didn't really give you much choice. I know you just worry about me, and I'm really glad that you do, but you shouldn't have to, and I'm sorry.
Motherhood is often a thankless job, but it has the capacity to be one of the most powerful versions of love. And Hilda's overarching storyline about trolls perfectly encapsulates this phenomenon, whilst also punctuating the show's overall theme of perspective. Our first encounter with a troll is anxiety-inducing. He chases Hilda and Twig throughout the forest, but our sense of fear is quickly challenged when Hilda realizes he just wants the bell taken off his nose.
Hold on, Mr. Troll. It's okay. I can fix this.
The residents of Trollberg don't share Hilda's sympathy for trolls. They built a wall to keep them out, effectively cementing a divide between their two civilizations. When we assume the worst in our world, the world will respond in kind. Men like Eric Alberg only see trolls as a source of danger, and he wants the supposed glory that comes from fighting them.
It's one thing to take a stand, but if you want to make history, then you have to make it happen. And that's what I intend to do.
Alberg escalates the conflict by renovating bell towers and antagonizing every troll he stumbles across, and his short-sighted actions have widespread consequences. The bells negatively impact all of Trollberg's other creatures, and his mechanized ringing system would have put the bellkeeper out of a job. Self-absorption is an incredibly destructive force.
Why did they build a city in the middle of troll country anyway?
Why not? The trolls weren't doing anything special with the land.
His reckless warpath culminates in Hilda and the Mountain King, where he is finally forced to see the world through a troll's eye.
Oh, that kid is really starting to get on my... Mother.
Trollberg was built atop the sleeping mother of trolls. She knew that sitting up would have destroyed the human settlement and everyone who lived there, so she chose to stay put since she could still be close to her children. The wall eventually prevented them from staying connected, but the trolls still felt their mother's presence from afar, and her love for them never wavered.
My children, I am proud of you. You may not remember me, but I have never and will never forget you. Take care of one another. Be strong, be good, and know that I am never far away.
The true value of perspective is the ability to sympathize with others, no matter how many differences separate us. If both parties are willing, then no divide is too wide to cross. And if we're lucky, we'll find something beautiful waiting for us on the other side.
Hello.
Hey, Mom!
Hey, honey, what's up?
Nothing. Just calling to say I love you. Also, we're out of Apple Jacks.
Okay, I'll pick some up on my way home.
You're the best.
I know.
Okay, bye.